naturally, but I actually grew up in Centerville, Iowa, which is about an hour and a half west of me, and I love everybody, in that area. So I've been truly blessed, and also to have been married to my, basically soulmate for almost 20 years now, and I got 3 great children. A lot. I got a lot to be thankful for.
That's a beautiful thing, especially in this day and age. You don't see, too many people married for more than 10, 12, 13 years. So to know that you're going on your 20th, that's a beautiful thing when you find that soulmate, isn't it? I mean, it's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And I've always been a pleaser. My mom will tell you I was a pleaser back in the day, and for a lot of people to see me in roles where I can hire and fire, in the industrial sector, and now I'm educating, the next youth, which, I couldn't be more happy. I get up every day, I get to look at myself in the mirror, and you know what? I get to go to school. I get to talk about what I want to talk about, within reason of education, but I'm able to do that. Some days, Linda, I don't know how I can tackle, a podcast, writing books, activities director, coach, dad, all that stuff. Some days I don't know how I do it.
I know. That is a full plate right there, my friend, that you have. But you're doing a wonderful job. Now, there is a question coming out of the chat. There's a couple of them. The first question is, Chuck, where do you come up with your ideas for your books? And do you find it hard to come up with new ideas when you write these books?
The thing about my first 2 books and also my third book that should be coming out, in November, is these are personal experiences. I dig deep in my soul, and I take these experiences and I try to basically articulate my writing in ways that people could be sitting like across the table from me, and it's basically a conversation. Come and listen to Chuck, speak about his experiences and whatnot. So it's kind of that matter. I have started a book on basically politics. It's called Religion and Politics Around the Dinner Table.
That sounds fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm a government teacher, so I take in a lot of those ideas, from that and the educational system, and I try to put it in light, humor, all this stuff. Some of my students call me Dr. Doom and Gloom because I try to explain, what could happen.
Well, I get that too when I read the stars. It's like, God, Linda, why do you have to be so negative? Well, it's because the stars are reading negative. I'm not, I know I'm Dr. Doom and Gloom, but, I have to give you the good with the bad.
Yeah. It's just the way it is,
It's part of life, everything it's like nature. Nature is cruel and kind. Well, life is like that. It can be cruel and it can be kind,
Yeah.
Now, we do have another question coming up for you out of the chat room. You guys are great in the chat room, by the way. I just love you, and the participation is awesome. This is a question for you, Chuck, and it says, what is your favorite part about writing, and what is next for you? And is there any sneak peeks?
My favorite part of writing is able to basically articulate my ideas in ways and share them, with an audience and those sorts of things. And I do have sneak peeks. If anybody would like to look, if you follow me, Charles Anthony on Facebook, I often put up my webpage, and I'll put it up in the chat room as well. But if you look down towards the bottom, I do have a blog, and my blog is kind of the sneak peeks, for things to come. And then also, I do have a couple. If you remember, this is kind of how we met. I actually at times write my visions, what I envision or my experience through astral projection, and basically those are kind of all sneak peeks into what's next and what is next. Let's see. We got Paranormal Experiences, Depths of Final Frontier 1. The second book was Experiences from Beyond, Depths of Final Frontier 2, and it's available on Amazon. You can get the color edition, I think, for $1.99 on Kindle, which that's cheap. And then my third book is Out of the Darkness and Into the Light, Death the Final Frontier 3. So that one, I can't give you a sneak peek. It is, it's one of the best feelings that I've ever had in writing, because it basically, you get to see my soul and my spiritual development shift into a definitely better situation than it has been in the past.
Wow, that sounds very fascinating. I can't wait to read that. That just sounds incredible, Chuck. I cannot wait to read that. I like reading about those.
Yeah. Do you want me to read my blog from Monday, July 13th?
I would love you to do that. Yes, please. Please do.
All right. This is entitled "The Battle Begins." The battle over good and evil penetrates the very fabric of any person considered to be spiritual. Contemplations of things to come, wonder what I might have done. Peering out of the corners of my mind, my soul you do try and bind. The intentions that you attract within always implicitly demean in a way of that might have been. The personal dogma, the batch of hate and discontent, the haze of ridicule. Why on earth do you contend to continue to drool? Panting, panting, panting. Yes, I can hear you aloud into the night as the fight rages on and in sight. My spiritual magic might be considered tragic. Guilt and thoughts of lifelong past. I fight with light so you can go on and be cast. Away from the inner soul, your teeth sink in to toil and plunder as you constantly try and pull me under.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. You have such a gift for writing, but you do come by that naturally, Chuck, being a Virgo. not to throw the stars in again, but Virgos are very meticulous, excellent writers when they most Virgos I know, it's beautiful. There's a lot of people in the chat, and I'm sure you're seeing it, that can't wait to get their hands on this book. So I'm excited about it. And when is this one due out? Any time frame or?
I'm probably looking into probably the week after Thanksgiving. So it'll make a great Christmas present. And also, I'm probably going to make a special book with all three books, so kind of a box set. That should be available sometime before Christmas.
That'll be nice, and that'll make great gifts. I just love getting books for Christmas. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for myself. Hint, hint, my relatives listening out there tonight to me. Can't decide what you want to get, Linda? You could just get Linda an Amazon card, and she'll buy her own books. Now, you do have a radio network and a radio show. Is that my understanding?
Yes, I had the greatest thing that ever happened, and basically nothing happens by chance. But I met a I'll call her my soul sister, Jenny Brazos, on Twitter, and we came up with the idea that we wanted to come up with like Paranormal 101 Radio, and you can follow us. We're on Blog Talk. We also have our own chat room, and basically, we just came up with that idea to get together, to get into a situation where we would have all these shows that are similar, to what's out there, like your great show, like so many great shows that are out there. But basically, I decided to do a show called Enlighten 30, which was basically it was supposed to be lighter, more spiritual. And then I added back my old show, Death the Show. So now it's called Enlighten 30, Death the Show. And basically, I had shamans, spirituality, ghost hunters, authors. Basically, I just want to give them, basically to share, share their stories. I just absolutely love that, that portion of it, and I'm sure you do as well.
Absolutely. So you're saying the network is Paranormal 101?
Yes.
And what nights do you air? When does your show air?
My show airs every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, and also I do a paranormal roundtable with Jenny, Kenny Addison of Lights Paranormal, and Cindy from FemForce on Sunday nights, and it runs at 8 p.m. Central.
All right. And I hear you're getting a new Friday show coming in late September.
Absolutely. And it's amazing, and I'm so happy to have you on board.
Yep, there, the cat's out of the bag. I am heading to Paranormal 101, and I'm on board with Chuck. And it was not, I don't want to turn this show into me, because it's not about me tonight. It's about Chuck and his beautiful books and his experiences. But I will get into that a little more at the end of the show about me moving and why I had to do what I had to do. It has nothing to do with D.T.M. They're family to me. They always will be. I'll explain it towards the end of the broadcast, but it's about Chuck right now. But I am looking forward to working with you, my friend.
This is the connection and the friendship that you have made. I mean, I consider you a sister. I consider you family.
I do too. Excuse me. I'm a little verklempt right now. I'm leaving a place that's a lot like family, so it is a little bit difficult for me, but I am very excited. I'm kind of the oddball in the bunch, because everyone talks a lot about paranormal, and here comes the lady that reads the stars. So, yeah. I'm still in the paranormal world, and I'm still a part-time investigator, but it's nice to have that, a variety of different topics on a network. You know what I mean?
You bet. And, see, our network, we do concentrate a lot on the paranormal, but I try to bring in all avenues. I had the opportunity, Linda, to have Rob Vandermark, whom's a childhood buddy, and if you remember some of those early stories, you haven't quite got to it yet, but the Mendota story, when you get to that point, Rob was with me that night, and basically we connected again. He's an author, and he discusses, basically, he kind of analyzes, why people act a certain way, or analyze.
Are you still there? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hello?
My phone. Hello? Okay. I think it's my cell phone. I've been having some cell phone problems the last couple of days, and I think my cell phone is on its last leg. I'm sorry. You cut out a little bit on me. It could have just been my phone. I didn't get that last couple of words in your sentence.
Okay. Basically, the Rob Vandermark, a good friend of mine, he's basically zero paranormal, but I try to bring on, different authors as well, whether it be fiction or nonfiction and things like that. Just the ability to help someone out there is something that I've always, done. I always try to help anybody that I come across.
I do too. Sometimes I get burned in the process of it. I remember years ago when I was studying astrology with my teacher, he sat me down one day and he looked at me and he said, "Linda, you're the most kindest, givingest person. You have the biggest heart in the world." He goes, "That's a good thing. But," he said, sometimes you think with your heart and not your head." And he's right. I do think with my heart and not my head. And there's been times when I probably should have turned my back on people when I didn't, because of the person that I am, and I got burned in the end. But I always go back to karma. When you do something to someone that's wrong, it does come back to you later on. It may take 20 years, but I always believe that doing good for others is good karma. And it may not be the karma in this life. It could be your karma in your next life. It'll give you a better life in the next life for the honors and the merits that you do in this one. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And I believe in past lives as well. So I can totally relate to that.
Absolutely. We're getting such nice accolades in the chat room, and I'm going to let Chuck just take over the rest of my show, and I'm going to cry in a corner for a minute. But no, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let me ask you, You broadcast on Saturday nights, correct?